clear that she has grown and learned from her mistakes, and she seems to just be a really awesome woman. Ariana and Katie are going to be going thrifting for some glassware for something about her. I bet you the thrift stores in the LA area are awesome. I live in rural Michigan, and the thrift stores out by me are just not great. Katie says that everything is falling into place with something about her. They have hired the and blocked her podcast, and blocked her sister, and even blocked Summer Moon's account, if you can believe it. Anyway, Sheena was hurt that Tom didn't respond and blocked her, but in my opinion, Tom was not obligated to say anything. I don't know, that's just my opinion. I did see on the after show, Tom was talking about blocking Sheena, and he says the reason he did it is because after she messaged him her condolences, she went on to do a podcast pretty much all about him and how he's a narcissist and blah blah blah. And when he blocked her, he had the option to block all accounts associated with her, and he says that's what he did. So, you know, nothing personal to Summer Moon, but it is completely Tom's prerogative if he wants to block people, whatever. Brock asks about Rachel, and Sheena lets him know that she has extended her stay at the rehab trauma center. Brock says that this whole situation is a bag of mixed worms. I believe he meant can of worms, but Watch What Happens Live and said that people should have some sympathy for Sandoval, even though he did something terrible. Maybe just give him a hug if you see him. Sandoval did say that people were coming up to him and giving him hugs after that. Anyway, Schwarz saying that on Watch What Happens Live really upset Ariana. And after she saw it, she sent him a hilarious text that I'm not even sure if I can say it, but Schwarz reads the text in his confessional, and it says, F you, blocking your number. Go choke on Sandoval's dirty A.D. somewhere. Schwarz confirms that he has never actually done that before. Ariana goes on to say that she does not foresee a friendship with Schwarz. Now everybody is getting ready for James's event at TomTom. Sheena and Lala are getting ready, doing their makeup. They are talking about contouring their face, and they bring up Ozempic. Sheena says people always ask her if she's on it, but she says she's not. She is on Scandal. We catch up with Ariana while she's getting ready, and she FaceTimes Daniel. He is a cutie, and I think they make a really cute couple. She talks about being nervous to go back to TomTom because this will be the first time that she has been there since finding out about the affair. We get the clip of the night the affair broke with Tom on stage, cutting to Ariana being a wildly supportive girlfriend. It's honestly just really sad to see that clip. Ariana does say that she considered not going, but she said she shouldn't have to make her life smaller because Tom messed everything up, and claps for that. Yes, girl. She says that she wants to go and make new memories, and Daniel is very supportive about that. So now we have everybody arriving to the TomTom event. Everyone looks so good. We even get a shot of Ken holding one of the dogs. Sheena and Lala arrive. I thought Sheena looked adorable, and Lala is wearing the most Lala outfit I have ever seen. There is a shot of Ariana and Katie walking in arm in arm that is juxtaposed with footage of the first time of them walking to TomTom arm in arm. I thought that was really sweet, and I love their friendship. The girls are all seated at the same table that Ariana was at when she found out about Tom and Rachel's affair. I'm sure that production made sure that would happen, and Ariana says that she is feeling a little nervous. So Schwarz comes up to the table and tries to say hi to Ariana, but she totally ignores him. In his confessional, he calls her an ice queen and the patron saint of scorned women. Eye roll. He thinks that he won't be able to forge any friendships with the rest of the girls if she continues to ice him out. Honestly, shut the hell up, Schwarz. None of these women owe you anything. Schwarz goes to the bar and tells the bartender that he needs a hug because of course he does. Ariana is getting a little bit emotional, and all of the girls are being very supportive. Honestly, I did get a bit teary-eyed at this point. We get a few flashback scenes of Ariana and Tom, and it was emotional. It was hard to watch. Ariana was honestly the most supportive girlfriend to Tom, sometimes to a fault, and he did not deserve her. The girls all cheers to a summer of bad bitches. Lala asks Lisa if they can go talk in private, and Lala confides in her that she's feeling differently about the Rachel situation because of the last thing that Rachel said during her season 10 confessional. She said that if she goes against Tom, she will have no one, and that Tom is the only person on her side. Lala says that she relates to that because of her relationship with Randall. She wore rose-colored glasses about the situation and denied being a mistress for years. Lala is coming to terms she hopes Tom cries, and Schwarz says Tom actually cries a lot. So there is a terrarium just on the floor in front of the couch, and apparently Tom is keeping some bugs that Kyle Chan gave him, and I thought maybe they were like isopods because people who have plants will sometimes keep those bugs. I don't think they were though. He showed them and I did not know what it was. He mentioned on the after show that he actually let the bugs free, and I really hope they weren't an invasive species. He also mentioned feeding them like French fries. I don't know. We have arrived at our girls' night. Everyone looks so pretty. Ariana is wearing this little alien sweater, and it's adorable. I wonder where she got it from. Katie talks about Schwarz and his pet bugs, and the girls all think that she said bed bugs, and I thought that was pretty funny. She mentions how Tom misses Ariana, and she's basically just like, well, that's too bad. Lala asks if she can play devil's advocate because, of course, and Ariana says that the devil has enough advocates. Lala says that Schwarz needs to make some changes in his life, but that they cannot discount the amount of mental abuse that Sandoval put him through. I think that's a little much. Like, there definitely was a power dynamic between Sandoval and Schwarz, and I do believe that it was a very toxic friendship. But Schwarz is a grown man. He has no backbone when it comes to Sandoval and consistently chose Tom and everybody over his own wife for years. Ariana talks about how she wanted to be close to Katie for years, and Tom would be like, oh, just be careful. Sandoval was never a good friend to Katie, and the fact that he like held Ariana back from really getting close to her is disgusting. Lala thinks that Ariana kind tries to compare the situation to her and Rand's breakup, and Katie interrupts her and is like, Lala, this situation, your situation, doesn't always apply. Claps to Katie for that again. Lala agrees that what Rachel did was messed up, but her feelings are conflicted because she has been in her shoes. Katie clarifies that, like, yes, you have felt the same way, but these situations are two entirely different things. Lala agrees and says, I know, like, how close Rachel was with everyone. And Sheena pipes up and says, yeah, I was a champion